Namaste and good morning, everyone. Let's start the class with the prayers. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parbrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Bhuvaswaha Tatsavitra Varenayam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayat. Asto ma satgamya tamso ma jyotirgamya mrityur ma amritam gamya. Om sehna vavatu sehna bhunaktu saviryam karvavahi tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidveshavahi. Om shanti 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 om. So each Wednesday we just touch upon some journal topic. And today I decided to talk about the art of parenting. So some people might say that, oh gosh, our children are old now, we are grandparents. But we are still parents also. We are grandparents to some and we are still parents to others. Even though they are older kids now, they are parents themselves, but we are still parents too. And we can still polish our art of parenting. Okay, so that is why I thought let's touch upon this topic a little bit. What is the most natural thing for a parent towards their children? The most natural thing is love. Love. Love for children is not something that can be taught. And moreover, there's no need to be taught. That is natural. Parents naturally have love for their children. Just like nobody had to teach us how to breathe. If somebody has to tell us that you need to breathe, that is ridiculous. It is natural. We started breathing. So just like breathing is natural, love for children is natural. Nobody has to tell a parent that you have to love your child. But still, parenting is an art. Art is something that requires proper knowledge. That's how it becomes an art. Proper training. And it also requires practice. Only then there's a perfection in an art. So again, love does not require instructions, but parenting is an art, and like any other art, it needs to be developed for us to become expert in it. Love is such a powerful force that the art of parenting people learn very quickly. So this art, how did we learn? We didn't go to a school. There were no classes for it. We learned it from our own parents, actually. They were our teachers for parenting. So art of parenting, we learn from our parents and we transfer it very naturally to our children also. All the parents, they get anxious that are we doing the right job with our children? Are we guiding them properly? Will they become happy children, successful children? Every parent is anxious about it. Problem is that these days we have associated happiness with the success, material success. So success often means the material success. Sure, both are important. We should not say that prosperity or material success is not important, but we should not equate the two as same. So we have to teach our children how to be happy and also how to be successful. Both. If they are happy, they are successful. But if they are materially successful, they may not be happy. So we got to be very clear about this one thing. Because today, too much emphasis, even when they go to universities, to school, the goal is how much they're going to make at the end, how successful materially they are going to be. So first thing we have to remember that each child is different. Even though born from the same parents. We see that boys are different from girls. And two girls will be different too. No one is better than others. Each one has its own uniqueness, their own specialty. So the very first thing is that parents need to tune up with that. What is the special thing in this child? Because the biggest mistake parents make when they compare one child with the other. It is a very difficult thing for a child to hear from parents. Parents who are supposed to unconditionally love them, to hear this, see how well your brother or sister is doing. This is one big reason for siblings jealousy. And often complexes in them too. So as a parent, we got to be careful. Never compare your children, especially in studies or their earning capacity. One person could be good in one thing and others may not be good in that thing. Each one is unique. Just like you wouldn't like to be compared with your friends or sister-in-laws. They don't like to be compared. Only parents can recognize the potential of a child. So be careful about it. There is a very famous saying that children came through you. They do not belong to you. They belong to life. You are only an instrument to bring them to life. They have their own destiny. You can only help them to reach their destiny. You can make it easier for them to reach there. And you are not the maker of their destiny. Children are like arrows, which the master has already set the mark. And you are just like a bow. Arrow has been shot out to reach its destination, to go towards its mark. But you should know how much bending of the bow you are going to do. Do not take your children to your dead past. Sure, role of the parents is not useless, but make sure that you know that your role is to guide them to their destiny. Our rishis, they have pointed out very clearly towards parenting. They said, do not try to make them into your image. You have your own destiny, they have their own destiny. Do not live your unfulfilled desires through them. Do not live your revenge through them. Do not live your complexes through them. Rather, help them to get free from their complexes. That is your role. Let them help you to forgive, just like children forgive our grievances. Children are our best guides also. Very often we forget as a parent that children have their own identity. We should guide them to make their own choices in life. Only then they can express their potential, their identity. Make them feel that apart from you, they exist. So this is very important thing we got to remember, to recognize that they exist. They are unique. Each one has come with their own destiny, and you can only facilitate it. When this thing is clear, the rest of the art of parenting is well laid out by our rishis. There is a beautiful shlok about this, which gives us a complete guidelines about what should be our relationship with our children at different ages. I'm sure you are familiar with this shlok, very popular. First line tell us what should we do in their first 5 years of life. Lalyat panch varshane. First 5 years. Lalyat. Hindi word for lalyat is laad pyar. Love your children so much that they feel part of you. So parenting has to be done lovingly. Because most of the modern age complexes, problems, even when we are older, very often they have been induced in the first 5 years. We can't even imagine the parents are the problems for these complexes. Because parents have been the guards in our life. But if they did not understand this parenting part in the first 5 years, they do add to the problems. There are some children, they grow up hating their parents. Still there's a bond. That bond cannot be given up, but there's a animosity because parenting wasn't done properly in the beginning. Words of the parents are so important to the children. When a parent says that you are not smart, you are no good, these words are so strong. They go into the consciousness of the child. Very innocent mind. They believe in it. I am no good. Or my parents' happiness belong in my achievement. And their belief becomes their personality. We should be very, very careful about this. What we tell our children, constantly we are pointing out that you are bad, you are dumb, you are no good, you are misbehaved. More often we tell them what they cannot do rather than what they can do. That's why the first vocabulary the child picks up is what? No. We keep telling them no, no, no. So let the first 5 years, lalyat. And this lalyat word is a pretty deep word. That means security also. That means love also. That means pampering also. That means a very close bonding also. Lalyat. If we have done that properly, next 10 years, Tadiyat darsh varshane. Tadna does not mean beating up. It's a Sanskrit word again. It means to educate, to train, to discipline. It does not mean to beat up the child. We should not beat the child. If you have to touch the child in a harsh way, that means you have failed as a parent. That means your voice does not have that conviction. So from ages of 5 to 15, educate them. Education does not mean only reading and writing and learning the math problems. Sure, in school they are learning it. Teach them the secret of life, the values of happy life. Cultivate their attitude, discipline their habits, the positive habits. That's why it is said, Tadiyat. That means train them. So in order to train them, you have to discipline them. You have to be strict. You have to be firm. So you should be very firm with the child, but never hit the child. That's what our rishis said. Okay. Lalyat panchvarshani dashvarshani tadiyat. If you have done that for the rest of the life, your child, even though it's not a child anymore, see, different ages, there are different words for a child. Because in English, we just say child. But in Hindi and Sanskrit, the infant is called a shishu. Then it becomes a child, that is called balak. From balak, it becomes a kumar. That is a preteen. Then it becomes kishore. That is a teenager. Then it becomes a yuva. So there are different names for different stages in life. But when your child has come to the age of 16, rishis, they say, mitravat acharet. So if you have done proper job in the first 15, 16 years, you can treat your child as your friend. It's not a kid anymore. It's adult. Treat them as your friends. Trust them. Parents should not panic when children tell them something. They should listen just like we listen to our friends. The same way, listen to your children. Otherwise, your children won't tell you anything. They will be misguided by someone else because they'll be open to somebody else. While parents have the best intention in their mind, other people may or may not. So let them share their issues with you. Make them think about the consequences of their actions. So they should feel comfortable coming to you with any issue, any problem. Talk to them, take some time out. Parents often react when it comes to their children. They can give a good advice when it comes to other children. But for their own children, they forget that. But remember, our rishis, they said your best friend is your parent. And parents should listen. So after the age of 15, 16, be a friend to them. Share with them. Share even some of your difficulties with them. Only then they'll share their problems with you, challenges, issues, or even excitements with you. You want to hear the good news also. Life is full of challenges and the good news too. So you want to hear all that firsthand from your child. So these are the guidelines given by the rishis. लाल्यत पंचवर्षाणि दशवर्षाणि ताडयेत प्राप्तेत षोडशे वर्षे पुत्र मित्रवत आचरेत. Apply this formula. Maybe our children are more than 15 or 16 now. We can still apply this formula. Confide in them, then they'll confide in you. Because first 5 years, sure, even in the animal kingdom, we see there is a bonding between a mother and the child. Lot of affection showing is there. So if your children are little, show the affection, joy, excitement, sometimes confusion, sorrow, everything, all those emotions should be shared. Only then they will learn how to deal with the issues. Remember, every child may not be academically good, but they are all good. Every child cannot be number one in a class or on the field, but they're all good. Do not put too much pressure on them that way. Start feeling that they are worthy of your love. You will love them no matter what. See, purpose of education in the schools is to give them knowledge and confidence. But as a parent, you should give them the values that will build their character. It is the character which will stay with them all the time, no matter where they got the degree, the character. Help them to develop the faculty of their mind, logical mind. Because most of the children, they don't know what the goal is or what the purpose of life is. Talk to them about that. Help them to build their personality completely. Social skills also, character development also, art also. All of this go in upbringing the child. So in other words, physical, mental, emotional, intellectual. Show confidence in your child. And again, remember, the greatest miracle for all of this is love. When your child knows that my parents love me, no matter what, will have the enthusiasm. They should become independent thinkers when they are little. Parents' duty is to teach them what their duties are. Show them about the duties, not only the rights. Because often we hear that this is my right, this is my right. But duties are more important than the rights. If everybody did their duty properly, then there's no question about what is my right and what is your right. Show the children how to respect the elders. Elders in the society, they have lived a life, they have a lot of wisdom. You spend time with the elders, then your children will spend time with you. Wisdom, they have lived this life. So duties towards the society, parents, nation, adherence to the duty, these kind of children, if they have learned this from the parents, they will have a joy in the life. And they will be joy of your life also. Another thing, remember, do not make your children your investment. Invest in your children. Because when we give direction to a child, we channelize a hyper child, a restless child. Because that's what we see these days. A lot of hyper children, restless children. A lot of stimulation in the food also, and at the same time from social media also. Give the direction, spend some time. And whatever you want to see in your child, imbibe those qualities in you first. Because we all know that fruit does not fall away from the tree. Or they say the chip does not fall away from the block. The same thing. So imbibe those qualities. If you think that, no, I want only my child to tell the truth, and you yourself don't, that's not how it works. So all the impressions are formed in the first 10 to 12 years before puberty. If your child is listening to you after that, call yourself fortunate. That means you have done a good job. Actually, even in our scriptures also, and logically when we think about it also, it makes sense that parenting really starts before conception. Because you will attract a similar kind of a Jivatma. And after conception, 9 months are very, very important. We see in our religious books, whether it was Mata Sita or Dashrath's wives, once they found out they were pregnant, they wanted to spend some time with the gurus. They did some tapasya, satsang, pilgrimage when they got pregnant. Because the qualities do go into the psyche at that time very deeply. Parenting should not be done something out of fear. Or not about something that you will have some kind of a gain or some kind of a name in the society. Our Vedic rishis, they said parenting is a sadhana. It is something to pay back to the society through those kids is a sadhana. What is the biggest sadhana? Detachment. That is the biggest sadhana. We have come here as human beings to learn how to detach. So as a parent, we got to learn how to detach. Rise above me and mine. So do the parenting as a seva. I'm doing God's work. This Jeev has come through me for guidance, and it's my duty to guide this Jeev. Because with regard to children, it's a very strong, my child is there. We have to remember that. It's not my child. This has been a boon given to me by God, sent this beautiful Jeev so that I can guide. Tulsidas ji said in this couplet, "Main aur mor tor tai maya, jehi maskine jeev nikaya." So this is the Maya. Me and mine, this is the Maya. When we think this is my child, that is the Maya. And in this life, this is what we have to work on. Because this is the feeling which causes most of the problems. In parenting also, we can see that what a big disaster, Dhritarashtra, my son, his son, Duryodhana, such a tyrant, my son. Dhritarashtra is sure, physically he was blind, but at the same time, intellectually blind too. My son, my child. When this comes in our mind, what happens is a person loses the objectivity. All the decisions, they become biased. And that's what happened to Dhritarashtra. Otherwise, as a king, he should have known what is right, what is wrong. But my son couldn't even make the right decisions. So remember, child is not yours. Time is beginningless, endless. You are meeting this child. This child has come to you through you only in this passing moment. You are in charge of this Jeev only for a short time. You are supposed to consider this as your sadhana. So when you are with this child for few years, you have to learn how to remove the ego to experience God. Because otherwise, if you create a me and mine so strong, you are creating another big obstacle between you and God. So sadhana is that I contribute towards this Jeev to help in the creation of the one God. This creation is God's creation. And this is my little duty to do. This is God's world. That's how our any karma which we do towards this child also, it becomes a karma yoga. Because when we are a karma yogi, we are not attached. Detachment is a very first step to it. I want to teach this child, so this child becomes a positive contributor to the society. Asset to the society, not a liability. Never think that you own this child. You really don't know. Because we are not all knowing yogis. We do not know where this Jeev has come from. You are just a medium for the child to come into this world. Jeev comes with his or her own prarabdha. The idea that child is mine should be definitely removed. The child is an individual to himself, herself. We all belong to God. So there is a big danger of thinking that child is mine. Just remember that. And I said earlier that some parents, they want to live their dreams through their child. They put so much pressure on children. Or sometimes parents want to gain some social mileage, like some kind of a reward for it. That's dangerous. Because parenting has become a self-advertisement these days. Something to show off. Sadhana means you should look at the child's welfare in your mind always. Let the child grow into what it is supposed to grow into. Just like there are different plants, there are rose plant and hibiscus plants. There's an apple tree and there's a lemon tree. They all are needed. So the same way, The tree needs what? The water, the sunshine, the fertilizer, the soil. The children, the same way. They just need some basics. Watch them grow according to their destiny. Let go of the mamatvam. This mamatvam means mineness. My child should do this way. Let go of that. See, parents do not become objective sometimes when they have this mindness in their mind. Okay, we got to give our children universal values. Sincerity, love, compassion, etc. Rather than saying that, no, in our family we do this way. Then objectivity is gone. Definitely give your children cultural values. Be friends to them. Convince them, not to push them. So start giving these universal values right from the beginning. And if you have a closeness with your child, only then you can do that. Because cultural values can come only when they have a full confidence in you. Or even the religious rituals which we do, if they have a confidence in you, only then they will follow. Otherwise, they'll run away from those particular cultural or religious values. Remember, you do not have any claim on the child. Child has come from God. So the more you let go, you will see that if you have loved them in the first 5 years, if you have properly trained them in the next 10 years, and then after that, if you keep a open communication with them, you will see that the more you let go, the more they will come back to you. You don't have to have any chain with them. So that's why these initial years are very critical. Ask your children sometimes, how can I contribute? What can I do for you? Instead of always thinking that what can they do for us? Inspire them, give them good examples, and definitely keep the communication open. So some of us are sure our children are not young anymore, but still we can get a lot out of these guidelines which have been set up by our rishis. Okay, so these are very fundamental for our growth and for our children's growth. And if the child is happy, family is happy, families are happy, societies are happy. Societies are made out of families, and families are made out of people. Each being is very important. Everybody should feel loved and respected. Okay, so let's stop it here, and then I'm sure you might have something to add or ask. We'll have some conversation. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnase Purnamadai Purnameva Visheshyate. Om Shanti 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 Om.